everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, in this week's guitar lesson, we're going to take a look at a country rhythm and lead played on electric guitar, and it's played in kind of a bluesy way. And what my goal was to take a lot of those real fast country licks that are usually like impossible to play and kind of boil it down to something that's a little more doable. And most of that stuff is over all of our heads, mine too, because it's just so fast. And but it sounds so cool, and so I've tried to slow a lot of that down and make it something doable, at least the lead portion of this. The rhythm portion, we're going to be using a hybrid picking technique where we use a pick and then we use these two fingers on our right hand to get that kind of rockin', bluesy country rhythm. And so it's a great technique to learn, and I'm going to boil all of that down over the course of 2 videos. So in this video we're going to look at the first half, which is the rhythm. If you'd like to watch the second half, which is the lead, you're going to want to go to ActiveMelody.com and look for EP125. That's a lesson number for this lesson. You'll be able to download the tablature, the jam track, which I have in 2 tempos. I have the tempo I played and then a slower version. And there's an interactive tablature as well, and a slowed down version where I just play through it slowly without talking, and all of that stuff. You get it all at Active Melody. Just look for EP125. So let's go ahead and start with part 1. Alright, so let's talk through tone settings real quick before we jump into the lesson. I'll be brief. Now I'm using 2 pedals. One is an overdrive pedal, which is an OCD pedal made by Full Tone. And I have the volume and the drive set at about 30%. And the tone is about 50%. And that's what gives me that little bit of overdrive. It's not a lot, and I have the volume on the guitar back at about 70%. So you have room to grow. That's just a little tip for you if you're playing live. You may want to always kind of throttle your volume back on your guitar so that you have room to grow if you need to kind of boost it, and it's real easy to do. So okay, so that's that pedal. The other pedal is a delay pedal, which is a flashback pedal made by TC Electronic, and I'm using that for slapback delay. Gives me a little bit of echo and it fattens up the sound. You can see what it sounds like without the pedal versus with. So anyway, that's what that pedal does. Now you don't have to have any pedals. Obviously you can run this straight into your amp, or you could play this even on an acoustic guitar. The rhythm part you can. So anyway, that's what I'm using. People always ask. The other setting is I have about 30% reverb on the amp, but that's always there. I like kind of I don't like a real dry signal out of the amp. Okay, so now the song is in the key of D. It starts on a D, and it's really just a 1-4-5 chord progression. We're going to go from a D to a G, there's an A, and then back to a D. And what gives it that country feel is it's 2 things. It's the bass. If you listen to the bass in the jam track, the bass is playing kind of your typical predictable country bass line. But then it's that boogie woogie guitar thing that gives it that gives it that country feel, instead of just playing like what you might do, just anyway, that's what gives it the country feel. Now how you achieve that is by using hybrid picking. So you've got your pick, which you're going to play for the D chord. We're going to play on the 4th string, or the 4th string, the D string, and then we're going to use these 2 fingers, our middle and ring finger, to pluck on strings 2 and 3. So it's a combination of picking and plucking. So if you've never tried hybrid picking, I definitely recommend it. You can see that my hand just kind of rests here over the strings. Each finger sort of locks into where it needs to be. And it opens up a lot of possibilities to be able to pick and pluck strings. And so anyway, give it a try. You'll find that it's actually not that difficult. Okay, so the way that this starts is we're going to do a downstroke on the 4th string. Let me just go over the left hand. So we're making a D chord here, but we're not using our middle finger. We're taking the middle finger off, and we're just playing with our, because we're not even going to play on the 1 string or the E string. We are playing on strings 4, 3, and 2. And that's how I'm making the chord. So we're going to start with a downstroke with the pick, and then we're going to pluck strings 2 and 3. And if you can do that, you've already hybrid picked. Now watch this. Now we're going to start that little boogie woogie bass walk up. And so it starts with, I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. This is how I do it. I put my middle finger here on the 3rd fret 3rd string. I'm sorry, 3rd fret 4th string. And then I hammer on with my pinky onto the 4th fret 4th string. So you have it like that. Now the other way you can do it would be to use your pointer finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then your middle finger here on the 3rd fret 2nd string to make the D chord that way. And then use your ring finger to slide into place. The only reason I don't like doing that is that that's not a natural way to make a D chord for me. I'm used to making a D chord like this, so I learned to play it like this. So anyway, that's up to you how you want to do it. Play around with it and find the one that makes the most sense. Okay, so after we walk up, we're going to get into the chord part where we're going to do this alternate thing. I'm going to pluck and I'm going to pick. So the pluck happens here on strings 2 and 3 each time for the D chord, for the D part. Now watch this. Just listen. Just watch the right hand. And then we'll get into the left hand. Pluck, pick, pluck, pick, pluck, pick, pluck, pick, pluck, pick. I know it's obnoxious, hard to say pluck, pick, but that's what you're doing. It's alternate every other time. So you can see what my right hand is doing. And it's actually pretty comfortable. It's not that difficult to do once you get the groove. And remember, I've got 2 versions of the jam track. So if those of you that are premium members and are playing along, start with the slower version and then work your way up to the faster one. Okay, so now let's cover what the right hand's doing. So we got strings 2 and 3. Now I'm going to put my pinky down on the 3rd fret 3rd string. Play pluck 2 and 3. And then watch this. I'm going to come up here and bar strings 2 and play strings 2 and 3, barring on the 5th fret. That's kind of a stretch because you keep your D chord shape down the whole time. And then back. And then we're going to take it off and do a hammer on. So let me do that slowly. We have. And that's what that sounds like. Now, you can palm mute with your right hand to get a little more control over the chunkiness of it. But in the beginning, you may just want to not worry about the palm muting part and just try and get the right hand doing what it needs to do with this hybrid picking thing. Now, after we do this, I put my hand down to sort of create really a ghost note to kind of get us to the G part, and then I pluck strings 2 and 3 without anything on the fretboard with my left hand, and that's part of the G chord. These two notes. And as soon as I do that, then I put my middle finger down on the 3rd fret 6th string, which is a G note. So now we're going to do the boogie woogie part on the G. Okay, so after we play this, we're going to come down, play the G bass note. Now we're going to be alternating back and forth between strings 3 and 4 with these 2 fingers, and then the bass note is all going to be here on the 6th string. So we're going to go. So just watch the right hand first. It's strings 3 and 4. You can see that it's the same concept as we did with the G, but we're skipping a string there as we didn't do with the D part. Okay, so there's strings 3 and 4. These are just open. Now watch this. I'm going to play strings 3 and 4 again, and I'm going to hammer on with my pointer finger to the 2nd fret, second fret 4th string. Now watch this. So my ring finger comes down on the 3rd fret 4th string. I keep this finger down, so I don't know if you can see what's going on there. That comes back there behind that. then we take it off, and we take this one off. So what you've got is a little boogie woogie thing going on with the G chord. Okay, so now the timing changes a little bit here. So we go, after you do the hammer on, back to the 6th string. There's the pluck, 6th string. Now see how I did that twice? And then I played the 6th string. There's the hammer on again. So, okay. And that's where we're going to get to. We're just going to end it right there. We're going to play that twice. Because then I played a little lead part to get us back to the D. And that gives it a real nice kind of twangy country thing. And to play those notes, and by the way, those notes are right out of the D minor pentatonic scale, if you want to think it. So your D pentatonic scale would be there, so that's all I'm doing. Let me show you those notes. So we start here on the 3rd fret, 4th string, and we slide up to the 5th fret, 4th string, and then we play the open G string, or the 3rd string, which matches that note. And you hear a lot of that in country, and you're going to see a lot of that throughout this lesson. So, and then what we're going to do, we're going to come back to the 3rd fret, 4th string, but when we play it, we're going to push it slightly sharp to give it kind of a bluesy, twangy feel. And then take our hand off the fretboard, play the open D string, and then the 5th fret, the 5th string on the 3rd fret. And we're going to play that and take it off. And now we're back in position for the D. So we got. And you can see I played all of those notes with my right hand, or with my pick rather. All those single notes. I did not alternate, or didn't hybrid pick those. Okay, so then we go right back to the D, and it's exactly the same. And then we come to the A part. Now the nice thing about this is it's sort of the same style, so we're going to go ahead and make our A by borrowing the first 4 strings on the 2nd fret. And we're gonna pluck strings 2, or the middle 2 strings, strings 3 and 4. Pluck those, and then we're gonna hit the low 5th string, or the open A string. Now watch this. Then we come back and pluck strings 3 and 4 again. So there's a little boogie woogie thing. Now we're doing it with our middle finger on the 3rd fret, 5th string. And then we hammer onto the 4th fret, 5th string with our ring finger. And then we play strings 3 and 4 again. And then I hammer on here with my ring finger to the 4th fret, 4th string. Okay, so from the D, now, from after that, I wanted to throw in another little lead part, and I went, very country thing. Let me show you the notes for that, and I'll show you how you can use this lick no matter what chord you're playing. The lick kind of goes right with the chord. You're really walking down the notes of the chord. So we're playing the A chord. We're going to start that lick here on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and then we're going to come down to the 4th fret, 4th string, and then the 2nd fret, 4th string. That part's pretty easy, right? And now we're going to take our pointer finger and this would be non-conventional for some of you because usually you're used to kind of going back and forth with these two fingers when you're playing a shape or a pattern. But what we're going to do here is we're going to jump down to the 5th string on the 2nd fret and pull it to bend it and release it, and then play the open 5th string. So we have, and the key to that's making it smooth, especially coming from this note to this note. Now what's important about this, and what I want you to always get from these lessons, is how can you take what you've learned here and then apply it to something else. Well, obviously these boogie woogie chords, if you're ever playing a G chord, now you have that in your arsenal. You've also got the way that you can do it with the D and the A. But this little lick, look how it plays off the A chord. So for example, if we were to move up and play a C chord in this position, so now this becomes the bar. Think of that. So right now, or with the A, that's the bar. Now we've just moved the bar up, basically. So now ask yourself, how would those notes play off of this C chord? Well, think about the A. They're playing right down that part of the bar. Well, if your C chord is here, your bar would be here, so it'd be. So now if you're playing a C and you want to throw in a little country lick like that, or however you want to do it, but now that you kind of understand how that lick plays off the chord, you can transpose it and you can even take it somewhere else. But I wanted to point that out so that you're not just limited to what you're learning here, and you can start to apply it to your playing. If you ever want to twang up your sound a little, then throw in some country licks. That's how you do it. Okay, so from the A, and I should have mentioned this. There's at the end of it, after we played that open 5th string, I did a hammer on to the 2nd fret, 5th string, and then that gets us right back to the D. So let's start from the beginning now. I'll play through everything up to the end of that A part. Play through it slowly. So we have. Now we're back to the D. Now watch this. That's exactly the same, so we won't go over that. But then I went. And that's a Mark Knopfler thing. I think I heard him do that on maybe Calling Elvis or something, where he would be playing a D. So you got that D note that rings out. It's kind of a drone note, but then you can play some little harmonized notes on top of it, and it's a great effect. So all I'm doing for that is I'm coming up here to the 5th fret and I'm barring the first 3 strings, although I'm only playing strings 2 and 3. So we play the bass note and then we pluck strings 2 and 3 with our right hand. Then we come up to the 7th fret, pluck. So again, it's that alternate. So it's pick, pluck, pick, pluck. So now watch this. For that, I got my middle finger down on the 8th fret 2nd string and my ring finger on the 9th fret 3rd string. And then we're back. So, and you could keep walking up. You have all these options to kind of keep that little harmony thing going, but that's all I did. So, see what's going on there with that? I'm playing that right on the beat. Okay, so that's the D part. And then it goes back to the G part, and I just stayed in G this time. I went. So let me do that slowly. was that time I hit it twice, and I did that just to sort of make it fit into the measure. Now we're back to the D, then to the A. That's exactly what we've already learned. It's just playing the first part of it. And then back to the D, and then this is how I concluded it. I went. So I came back to the 3rd fret, 4th string, did another little bend, and then that time I hit the open 3rd string, which is a G string, and then a bend again there, then played the open D string, and then I pushed the 5th string on the 3rd fret a little bit sharp. And then I slid from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the 5th string, and then matched that with the open D string. So it goes. Kind of a nice little country lick. Then I went up to all the lead stuff. Alright, so let me back up. That's the rhythm part. And again, if you're new to hybrid picking, just take it slow. You can just set a metronome. If you don't have the jam track, that's okay. You can just tap your foot or something to try and stay on. The key to this is you have to have some kind of a, if you really want to learn how to do it, have a metronome or something that you can play to force you into the rhythm. Otherwise you'll cheat. It's just natural to sort of slow down tempos and things, but that's how you really learn how to do it. And that is the country rhythm. Now, I'll see you in part 2, and we'll get into all that fun lead stuff with all these kind of double bends and just a lot of new stuff. And I'll explain where all those notes come from as well and how they relate to the chords that we're playing. All right, we'll see you in part 2.